Hey everybody. So after that live stream, I had maybe 15 minutes of working on the project and actually got it working. So I was absolutely gutted, but also quite relieved. So here are tests. And we had, this is how we left it. We had the music album tests here. Okay. And we had the app tests here, 3 of them. Problem is, of course, this bin test is only running some of them and not others, which was really weird. And I couldn't figure it out. And then I asked good old ChatGPT, and it turns out I don't understand Ruby. So what you need to do is, this is a tip for any of you Ruby bods out there. This is a pattern. Well, let's do this. Okay, so if you do this in the shell, it lists out those files. So surely Ruby will just, that will list all the files, and then Ruby will run each one, running tests, right? It's not what happens. It runs this first one and then it just stops, which is hilarious. So what you need to do is git show. You need to do this piece of arcane magic. You actually need to execute a little bit of Ruby that requires each one of those files and doesn't just stop at the first one. I know, right? That's pretty bonkers. So anyway, reminds me why I don't really want to do much Ruby anymore. So git reset hard. Let's check that out. So if I do bin test now, you'll see it runs 6 tests. And now that's running all. So that was the first problem that we ran into. We couldn't get all the tests running at the same time. A small thing, but it's a big deal for me. I don't like just hobbling on with kind of running some of the tests and not others, and you don't know which ones you run. So that was the first problem we ran into. And then the one I just thought I would tackle is there's a bit of repetition here. Sorry. There's a bit of repetition at the top of each one of these files where it's got auto run and it's got auto run and pride. And then basically the accepted knowledge here is to just extract these into a helper. So I did that. So we've got our test helper. Our test helper is very, very simple. It just requires the test files. But if there's anything else that we want to require as standard in here, we can do. And each of these now have this test helper line at the top. No big deal. Again, just a small quality of life improvement. It was just doing my head in a bit. And then, of course, the big problem was we were adding in the album name in here and here and here, and it wasn't coming back out in the list of music albums. So let me show you what I did. The first thing I did was git show. I asked the album name as we were doing before. I did this in the stream and it just didn't work. And we passed in the name here. And then I wrote pretty much exactly the same code that we wrote earlier on the stream. I added in pop as one of the album names. Pop there and pop here. And at that point, all the tests still passed, but I wasn't checking the album name down here. So I hadn't broken anything, but I hadn't really improved anything either. I mean, I had improved it because I was recording pop in the in the persistence. So then show, this is the next change I made. Added the name into here, and this is exactly what we did on the stream, and it just didn't work. The one thing I realized straight after the stream was I'm a silly Billy, and we didn't need to do all of that assert and then do some weird .match question mark and have a match name string and blah, 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 blah. we can just use the helper assert match, which I'd forgotten was a thing. So it asserts that a string here matches this regular expression. And sure enough, if we check that out, not that, sorry. Passes all the tests. So at this point, we have the name in the output. And just to prove that does work, let's add a music album. Let's list all the albums that we've got so far. Now, these two have blank names because these were added before we added this feature. So I'm just going to exit and clear out the data. Okay. Bin run, list all albums, no music album in the library. Cool. So we're now going to add one. What's the album name? Pair type for destruction. Is it on Spotify? Yep. What's the date of publication? 1993, I reckon. I don't know for a fact. And is it archived? Yes. And it's rock. The music album is created successfully. So we should, in theory, be able to just list it out. And there we go. Oof. That was hard, wasn't it? And I still can't understand why it didn't work on the stream, but for some reason it didn't. We were so close. So I will see you all next week. And thank you for bearing with me. I know it was a bit of a tough one today. I'll make sure I'm better prepared next time. Any questions, just fire me a message on LinkedIn or fire me an email. You can get in touch for refactoring through this site here, synapticmishap.co.uk/refactor. Submit your code here. There's a whole bunch of questions, Q&A here, and then right at the bottom of the page here, you can submit a gist or your repo on GitHub. And that is it from me. Thanks for listening. Bye.